So, can you really make money with simple copy paste AI work? I mean, we've all seen the videos, right? They promise this super easy path to getting rich with AI. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to find out what's real, what's just a waste of time, and what it actually takes to earn a living with AI. Let's get into it. You know these thumbnails. You can't scroll through YouTube or TikTok for more than 5 minutes without seeing a title just like this. They're selling this dream where AI does all the heavy lifting and you just sit back and collect the checks. Endless content, channels that run themselves, side hustles that are supposedly effortless. The promise is simple: push a button, get paid. But what happens when someone actually tries it? $15. That's it. That is the grand total somebody made after testing these exact strategies for a full 24 hours. Yeah, a little different from the thousands of dollars we were promised, right? This one number tells you everything you need to know. There is a massive gap between the hype and the hustle. So let's break down what's really going on here. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack that big promise of AI riches. Then, we'll get a serious reality check from people who've actually tried it. After that, we'll look at a method that really works for building a career. We'll also cover how to play by the rules. And finally, we'll reframe how you should even be thinking about AI and money. Okay, so let's start with the promise. Because, it's really tempting and it is absolutely everywhere. The core pitch is that AI just gets rid of the hard part. The idea is you can generate articles, create videos, maybe even write entire books with just a few clicks. It's sold as a shortcut, right? A way to build that passive income stream without putting in much effort and without needing any real skills. But as we're about to see, when the barrier to entry is that low, it gets crowded. Now, let's be fair. The promise isn't completely made up. There are some really smart creators out there who see AI not as a magic money printer, but as a genuine partner. They use it to brainstorm ideas, to speed up their research, to just make their workflow faster. In this view, AI is a massive productivity boost, a tool that makes human creativity better, not one that replaces it. So we've got these two competing ideas, right? On one hand, AI is a get-rich-quick scheme, and on the other, AI as a helpful business partner. Let's see which one holds up when we look at the actual results. This is from that 24-hour experiment we mentioned from the Dollar Secrets YouTube channel. They went all in. They tried 3 of the most popular AI hustles back-to-back: content writing, video creation, and voiceovers. They put in the time, they made the samples, listed their services, and after a whole day of grinding it out, the result was a few clicks and that $15. And this gets to the absolute heart of the problem, something people on Reddit have pointed out. The issue isn't that you can't make a single dollar with AI. You probably can. The problem is that these simple copy-paste methods just don't scale. The strategy that makes you $5 is basically impossible to replicate in a way that would ever make you 5,000. It's more of a hobby than a business plan. And then you have to consider this piece of the puzzle. According to the Online Labor Index, the market for this kind of easy online work is global, and it is fiercely competitive. Think about it. The easier a task is, the more people there are all over the world willing to do it for less money, which drives the price down to practically zero. You're not just up against people in your city, you're competing with the entire planet. So if the easy path is basically a myth, what's the real path? Well, fortunately, some really successful freelancers have laid out a much more realistic and sustainable strategy. It's called the crawl, walk, run method. It was popularized by Adam Goodyear, a freelancer who's earned over 100 grand on Upwork using AI. And the philosophy is super simple. You have to build a foundation before you can build a skyscraper. It shifts your focus away from chasing quick cash and puts it on building real skills and a solid reputation for the long haul. So here's how the journey breaks down. In the crawl phase, forget about the money. The goal is just to earn your very first dollar and get that first positive review. You take low-paying jobs just to learn the ropes. In the walk phase, you start to figure out your specialty and raise your rates. Then in the run phase, you're an established expert. And finally, in the fly phase, you use that expertise to build something bigger, like your own agency. And this is the most crucial part. That early period where you're not making much money, that's not a failure. It's an investment. The skills you learn, how to talk to clients, how to manage a project, how to set expectations, are just as valuable as the technical stuff. Trust me, every mistake you make on a $50 project is a lesson that keeps you from making that same mistake on a $50,000 project later on. Of course, building a real career means you have to play by the rules. Platforms like Upwork aren't just the Wild West. They have very clear guidelines on how you can and can't use AI. Upwork and other platforms draw a really clear line in the sand. Using AI as a helper for drafting things, brainstorming, or doing research is usually okay, as long as you're upfront with your client and you are personally reviewing and editing everything. What's not okay, and what will get you banned, are things that break trust, like using bots to apply for jobs or passing off raw, unedited AI content as your own work. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it's about being honest with your clients. It's about starting with your idea and using AI to make it better, not to create it from thin air. It's about adding those personal stories and specific details, that human touch that AI just can't fake. The people who are really succeeding are the ones layering AI into their process without letting it take over their own thinking. And this all brings us to probably the most important takeaway from this whole thing. We need to reframe how we think about AI in the first place. This quote from a Reddit user just absolutely nails it. A hammer is an amazing tool, right? But it's totally useless if you're not a carpenter. You don't make money with a hammer. You make money by being a skilled carpenter who knows how and when to use that hammer. AI is exactly the same. So here's the bottom line. AI is a skill multiplier. It makes a good writer faster, it makes a smart marketer more efficient, it makes a great developer even more productive. But it does not make an unskilled person skilled. Success comes from combining your own unique human expertise with the power of this incredible new tool. Ultimately, the question isn't whether AI can make you money. It can. In fact, it's going to generate a staggering amount of wealth. The real question is for you. Instead of looking for a shortcut, what valuable skills are you going to build that AI can then amplify? Because that right there is where the real money is.